Hi guys, Hayden Simmons here from the Portrait Guru, and in today's video I'm going to share how I created this mouth drawing using coloured pencils. I'm going to take you from start to finish, going step by step, me narrating throughout this video. So let's get into it. I firstly start off by choosing a limited colour palette for this drawing. So I'm mainly using a mixture of yellows, pinks and reds, and I always recommend you trying out a limited colour palette for your drawings, as it really does strengthen your colour within your art. So always choose limited colours. You can see from the reference photograph that it's currently a colour version, but I'm going to change that into a black and white reference photograph, as this allows me to see the values really clearly within that reference photograph. I begin by drawing a rough outline of the mouth using the pink, and I'm using a really light pressure at the start of this drawing, so I'm just sketching out the foundations to the piece. Looking at the big shapes to that mouth, so I'm breaking the top lip into two main shapes and then one circular shape for the bottom lip there. I'm using a brown to shade the left side of that mouth. As you can see, the shade or the shadow is on that part. And then I actually turn my image upside down so I can notice any errors within my piece. And then use harder pressure to describe in between that mouth there. As you can see, it's quite a dark area in between those lips. I keep referring back to the photograph and also my drawing. You can see from the bottom lip on the left hand side that there's some shadow underneath that lip there, so I'll describe that within my drawing. I then use a coloured pencil of red for the top part of the lips, and then I use the yellow for the right hand side of that mouth there. As you can see, it's illuminated and it goes from light into shadow on the left hand side. Use a harder pressure to describe underneath that mouth there. As you can see, the shadows come from underneath, right here, the side of the mouth and also above the mouth as well. I then use the pink to describe the bottom part of that lip, using a harder pressure in between those lips, and then also do a circular motion for the corners of the mouth. Above the lip on the left hand side, a bit of illumination between the top part of the lip and also the skin, so I've done this within the shadow part of this drawing. So using a pink and also a reddish pink for the lips and also the illuminated side. I then go back to using that brown and describe some of the details within that bottom lip there. I'm going from light pressure to harder pressure as the drawing goes forwards, then describing the shadow part on the bottom lip there. Going back and forth using a combination of different colours. So at the moment I'm using red, and then I go back to using brown. I'm always looking at the reference photo, seeing where I can describe more contrast between the lights and also the darks. And you can see I'm always going over that shadowed part with the yellow just to make it a bit more illuminated, a bit more natural. If you want to see the tones of the reference photograph, just squint your eyes like this, and then you can see the tones much more clearly. By me doing this, I can see the darkest areas come from the top lip, they come from below the bottom lip, and then the illuminated parts comes from below or just above the chin and the side of the cheek there. You can see I've described some of the chin right there. You don't have to do that within your drawing. You can use different colors if you want to. You can use the same color as mine. I always just recommend a limited color palette, seeing where the lights and the darks are, and also just always referring back to the reference photograph. Now see that is really coming together. So we've got the shadowed parts in place, we've got more of the description of the chin and how the bottom lip and also the top lip form, and always think in 3D within your drawing. Whenever I draw lips, I go around the surface. I don't just draw straight down, just go around like you would imagine a mouth in real life, and also do the same for the upper lip as well. I'm using a red for the illuminated side just to give it a bit of contrast there. So you can see within the shadowed parts on the left, it's got a bit of yellow, a bit of red, and also some brown as well. So it's not just one solid color. I then also wanted to just make those darks a little bit darker. So I actually used a purple within this piece. I know I said about using a limited color palette, so I used the purple in between the mouth. I then made the darks underneath the mouth a little bit darker, and also used it within the left hand side of that cheek and chin there. I'd love to know how you got on with your mouth drawing. Do comment me below with any questions or how you got on. I'd love to hear from you. Do like this video and also subscribe to the Portrait Guru for even more content in the future. Then we're coming up to the end of this mouth drawing, and then here's the finished artwork coming up. And I really do highly recommend you checking out this video coming up.